A very good day to all of the doctors. So today I'm going to be talking about my interest in specializations, which is neurosurgery. So firstly we'll be talking about the brain anatomy and function. So as you all know, there's two sides of the brain, the left side and the right side. Each of them have their own specific function. The left side of the brain is for logic, verbal, detail, science, names, math, strategy, order, thinking, and for writing. Meanwhile, the right side of the brain is to picture stories, big picture observations, shapes, music, patterns, imaginations, beauty, and possibilities. So now, as so now we are going to see that the brain is divided into few parts, which is called lobes. For example, the frontal part of the brain is called a frontal lobe. The middle part of the brain is called a parietal lobe. The back part of the brain is called a occipital lobe. So for everyone's information, the left side of the brain actually controls the right side of our body. The right side of our brain controls the left side of our body. So now, firstly, we will look at the frontal lobe. So what are the function of the frontal lobe? So the frontal lobes actually control the movement on opposite side of the body, speech, intelligence, thinking, memory, personality, and behavior. Next, we're going to look at the parietal lobe. The parietal lobes are involved with the processing of sensory information. For example, the feeling of hot and cold, where our body parts are in space. Also involved in helping us know from left, know left from right side, and being able to read and do math problems. Most of the actions that are involved in the parietal lobe are involuntary actions. Next, we're going to talk about temporal lobe. Temporal lobe are involved with perception, hearing, emotions, understanding speech, and for memory. Now we're going to look at the bottom part of our brain, which is the cerebellum. Cerebellum controls the fine motor movement, coordination, and the balance of our body. The occipital lobes are used for vision and perceiving what is seen. Damage caused to the occipital lobe can cause the loss of vision and visual hallucinations. So now we're going to talk about what is actually neurosurgery. So the neurosurgery is divided into two branches, which are elective surgery and emergent surgery. So what is elective surgery? So elective surgery is basically non-emergent basis, which is actually not, it means it's not an emergency basis. For example, cranial surgeries, spine surgeries, and peripheral surgeries. So first we'll start with cranial surgery. So there are many types of cranial surgery, which are tumor surgery, vascular surgery, and functional neurosurgery. So what is tumor surgery? There are many uh, ways you can diagnose tumors in the brain. For example, benign and malignant, slow growing, fast growing, life threatening, and non life threatening. Vascular neurosurgery. Vascular neurosurgery is done in the vascular part of the whole body. For example, aneurysm and blockage of narrowing of any vascular parts of the body. Functional neurosurgery is a stimulation via electrodes. This means that we connect electrons to our brain and stimulate all the speech cells that we are trying to stimulate. Another thing is down regulation via visions. So spinal surgery. So there are three types of spinal surgery: degenerative, scoliosis, and tumors. So basically, all three of these surgeries can be done by both neurosurgeons and orthopedic surgeons, but tumors at the spinal region only can be done by neurosurgeons because the spinal cord contains a lot of neurons and contains a lot of nerves where a neurosurgeon need to be present so that surgery can happen fine. So there's also something called peripheral nerve surgery. So peripheral nerve surgery involves uh, everything else besides the brain and the spinal cord. So what are peripheral nerve surgery? So peripheral nerve surgeries, for example, is the removal of tumors anywhere besides the brain and the spinal cord. For example, it could be in your leg, it could be in your hand, or it could be somewhere in your hips. All of these are peripheral nerve surgery. So what else are considered peripheral nerve surgery? Are transected nerve repair. When one nerve is not working well, um, they do a surgery to transect and repair the nerve. And also they do surgery called nerve graft. Nerve graft is when a surgery when nerve is not working properly, they will take nerve cells from other parts of the body and place it in the place where the nerves aren't working properly so that it can activate back the nerve cells. So now we're going to go to immigrant surgery. So there are two types of immigrant surgery, which is trauma surgery and neurosurgery. So trauma surgeons are basically people who work 24/7. They are present when there's any emergency. And neurosurgeons, they work based on their schedule and also and in emergency situations. So for example, I have taken a case here to study which is called decompressive hemicraniectomy. So what is decompressive hemicraniectomy? So it happens very rarely in cases where most of the time it's caused by accidents or any damage to the head part. So basically, when there's damage to the head part, it causes inflammation in the head, which will cause the inflammation of the brain. So when the brain is inflamed, it doesn't have a lot of space, empty space to get inflamed in. So this will cause the cerebral and all the parts of the brain to move downwards through the foramen magnum down the body. So this could cause uh, severe consequences if it's not treated as soon as possible. So what are this is the way how they treat the decompressive hemicraniectomy, which is by cutting this, which is by opening the skull part of the brain and giving it space for it to get inflamed. This will allow the brain to get inflamed and not go down through the foramen magnum, which will cause even more damage. So once they have opened the brain at this part, they'll use that part of the brain and store it into a fridge until the inflammation has reduced. So once the inflammation has reduced to a certain level where they can fix back the skull, they will just bring back the skull from the freezer and place it back in the brain, place it back on the position where it came from. So one of the world now renowned specialists is Dr. Sivaprakasan. He's a neurosurgeon with 48 years of experience. He's one of the professional member of the Malaysian Medical Council, Preliminary Investigation Council, Medical Review Panel, Fitness to Practice Panel. He got his MBBS in 1973 from the Madras University and then pursued two fellowships in 1982 at the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh and the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. He's a specialist in craniospinal surgery, brain surgery for tumors, spinal surgery, interaction for hemorrhages, and traumatic brain and spine surgery. He also treats other neurological conditions such as cervical, lumbar spondylosis, nerve damage, head injuries, paralysis, and spinal tumors and lesions. I have chosen him as one of my idols because he has a very successful career throughout his whole life. Many of the doctors till today they still look up to him because he's very old and he's still pursuing what he loves. He does his passion is neurosurgery, so he loves what he does, and I hope that I can become like him one day. That's all for me. Thank you.